I'm going to kick it off now with the owner of House Kombucha, Rana Chang. Rana, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so great. So, so you're going to be turning 10 next year, company-wise, and you are based in the San Francisco Bay Area. But beyond that, tell me a little bit more about your brand and what you guys do.
This is House Kombucha. It's a craft brewed kombucha. I've been doing this for 9 years. Started in just a kitchen basement and grew it to owning my own facility in the Bay Area, which is it's been amazing to scale it like that. This tea is mainly a tea-forward brand. We really kind of highlight the fact that kombucha is based on tea. So I have white tea, I have black tea, I have green tea, I have herbals, and I mainly like to focus on the floral notes already inherent in the tea.
Yeah, and so, you started in 2009, and that was still when kombucha was incredibly niche and mostly unheard of, and now we're really experiencing this big boom for the category. What's it been like kind of having this brand for so long and watching as kombucha starts pivoting towards the mainstream?
It's been really interesting. I mean, I was there in the beginning when I was really educating people. Like, what is kombucha? Like, all day long having those conversations, and now it's completely different. It's like people totally know what kombucha is. They just say, "Oh, I don't know this kombucha," is what they say. I've not tried this kombucha. There's a lot of changes. Like I've been in San Francisco mainly this whole time, so I feel like I have a strong foothold with the retailers there. But interestingly enough, the customers keep changing because it's a very dynamic population in the Bay Area. So we're always having to go out and demo and re-educate people and reintroduce ourselves. And it's been good to grow like in the food service categories, in kegs, really like part of the community, kind of on tap in awesome establishments. With the increase of these other brands though, and really like their approach to launching 20 SKUs and like dominating the shelf, it's that is definitely challenging for me because that's not been the way that we were oriented at all.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So, I mean, does that make you reconsider how you approach the business and how you approach the bottled side of things?
I really feel that kombucha is a craft beverage. We don't really need to throw a bunch of functionality into it and try to grab like the Red Bull vitamin water market. It really should be seen more as like craft brew beer, where you make an awesome beverage that you're really proud of, that has its own story, and it goes where it belongs. You don't have to force it. I feel that this brand has been very consumer driven, but given the potential to be, and my grocery sales are a big part of it. So I mean, and they've been doing really well. So this is why I'm looking this year to try to find a partner and like expand who could really drive that aspect.
Now, you're telling me before we got up here that you have a lot of capacity to scale.
Yes.
And could you tell me a bit more about what we might be looking at as far as what you're hoping to do?
Well, I guess I could go into all the regions and stuff. It's just really finding the partners that want to take it there and take that leadership. As far as capacity goes, we have capacity to grow 4 times. So, and it's just because I started buying more equipment, and that's where my focus was, because it just feels more hands-on, like helping out my employees do things that aren't going to be so labor-intensive or it's going to strain their bodies. So I kept, getting better and better equipment to the point where like, we're only running the line 2 days, 3 days a week. So I know that we could scale 4 times, and since there is such a demand, there is the potential that I could do private label or co-packing for other brands who just really want to give that a shot. So
yeah, that'd be interesting too. You're only in California right now, right? Yeah, I mean, do you want to go nationwide, or do you see this as being sort of a California business?
I don't. I'm happy with whatever I guess the consumer wants.
Yeah.
That's actually, so I get a lot of requests from fans like, oh, when are you going to be in the East Coast? When are you going to be in Chicago? And we ship it too, but it's really expensive, the shipping, just to ship a case.
Right.
And so it's a niche product, and to bring it nationwide is like just a whole kind of mystery to me. as to what distributors and how to work with that. I know there's a million people here at this conference who are like, oh, I want to help you with that.
Yeah.
But I just haven't navigated that yet. So, I mean, to be honest, my heart would not be broken if it just stayed in a local brand, because I feel like that's what makes places special, is that you have special things you can only get there. And that every place should be special and every place should have their own local products.
Right, and there's also that potential to really become a local fixture.
Yeah.
One thing I know you've done is you have a tap room, and can you tell me a little bit about how that plays into your business model?
Well, my tap room is just more of right now on Wednesdays we let people come over and fill up their growlers. I know that it would be really that if we had a better location or if we had some better, we were going to do another build out to make it look a little nicer. But that there's definitely people who are willing to drive over an hour just to have that experience of going directly to the maker and to fill up their growlers. They also it's also a way that we can produce like really new flavors and give them directly to the customer and have that direct interaction. It's like, oh, how do you like that? Kind of like being a restaurant, which is actually like the name House Kombucha. When I first it's inspired by the idea of being a house kombucha, like your house wine, your house coffee, your house juice, something that is made in house. So so it falls into that.
What do you do to get that brand loyalty that your consumers, your fans are going to drive an hour just to fill a growler? How have you sort of built the company that way and created those relationships?
I feel like first it's the product. It's different from the other kombuchas, which seem to have like a very central kind of like just kombucha concentrate or kombucha base that's like green and black teas, and then they add juice and ingredients to create the profile. But mine is more the tea creates the profile, and then we only add extracts or other herbs to accent the flavor of the tea. And so there's just a craftsmanship there that is very different from the other kombuchas that will find its own audience of customers that really appreciate that, and they're not going to find it anywhere else. There's also just the customer service aspect of being a small business where you can pick up the phone and call them. If somebody has a problem or somebody wants a coupon, you just send it to them. And that feedback, especially with other local businesses where we sell on tap or just to cafes, I think really creates that long-standing relationship. Right.
I mean, do you partner a lot in the community too? Do you, sort of do that type of?
We give away a lot of kombucha for donations. People are always emailing us like, oh, I'm having an event. And it actually works out fine because it's like we do a lot of self-delivery too. We don't just go through big distributors. We have our own van and we just mix up cases and make it to order. So sometimes you have cases that get out of rotation in the warehouse. And so you just have this pallet of extra bottles. And whenever anybody has an event or wants, a donation, we just clear it out. And so it's actually been a really win-win way of promoting the brand, giving back, and cleaning out a warehouse.
Right, great.
Yeah.
Well, Rana, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. This is great. And, I love seeing just kind of a local brand, like that type of identity too. So, enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you. You too.